think we have a solution for that. If you've broken both arms, then too bad, you know, pretty much. Whereas for blind people, they are per room, there are a couple of backpacks that you can use. And we have like a little cubicle, let's say, a little booth that you can go inside. And then, well, the way we vote here is we have the envelope and you have to put like the list of names that you already have, like from the party already chosen just inside. So what they do is that those papers have a little braille code on top. And so do the envelopes in case we're voting different things. But the bad thing though is that only the requested envelopes have braille, the others don't. So whoever is counting the votes afterwards could easily know which envelope was of the blind person. Yeah.
I would like to add to what Rebecca said about Germany, because that's what I did in the wrong knowledge forum before. We have the same system actually as Gamze told us about, that there is an association that allows for, which sends out those schablons, like templates, to blind people and allows them for doing postal voting via that service. And completely independent, which I think is the most important part about it.
Yeah. Okay, so I would then move to the second question here in the knowledge forum, or maybe let's see where we have answers. And it seems, yeah, the second, no, we don't have answers, but let's start with, are there any study programs or professions which visually impaired people are not allowed to pursue? And if so, which in your countries that you are aware of? Gamze, can you tell us about the situation in Turkey?
Sure. Actually, there is not a written rules, but in most study programs or professional topic, blind people are not able to study or work in this topic because people said that, oh, our conditions is not so appropriate for blind people. So I think you choose another study area or another professional topic. And I think actually there is not any study area or a job that blind people are not able to do. I think if we can provide accessibility, then blind people, deaf people, and other people are able to do these jobs, these studies. But I think people don't have enough information about accessibility and about the things that disabled people can do. That's the problem, I think, because we know that disabled people actually have different jobs in different countries. They can do some some jobs in different countries, but sometimes it is not valid in Turkey. Actually, most blind people, for example, in Turkey, are teacher, or they work in governmental area, or they are a lawyer, and so on. But we cannot find enough blind person, for example, in physics, in chemistry, and so on. But I think they can do that because in different countries they can do that, those jobs and those study areas. And I think accessibility is the key point. We believe the accessibility, then we can solve a lot of problems. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Sonia, you had something regarding Bosnia, didn't you?
Actually, not just Bosnia, but also Serbia, because I have a friend that applied for university last year, and I was there with her, and I know that when she applied in Bosnia and in Serbia, she couldn't apply for some of the universities. As I wrote in the sheet, it is possible in a theory, but not in practice, because when she came to university, she was trying to apply for medical studies because she finished for high school for physiotherapist. They told her it is possible, but later on when they had a meetings, they told her it's not possible because they don't have the right equipment. She need an assistant. And also her friend who tried the same year to apply for my faculty of technical sciences for mechanical engineering, also it wasn't possible because of the lack of the equipment. So now she is on medical faculty, but not like general medical studies, but she's for physiotherapist. She succeeded at the end.
Okay. That's, yeah, sad that that's the case. Carmen, you had something regarding Spain.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's kind of the same situation, but I have not heard of any case when it's not allowed. So to study, you're allowed to study absolutely everything. I know for sure in engineering, you're allowed to. So I do not really know how do they do it. As Sonia said, that maybe there are some facilities or some experiments that you need to change and adapt it. I'm not sure how they do it, but I know that they do because I know yeah, engineers who have studied it and they're blind. However, it's true that then, okay, a person I know studied mining engineering, and he knew that when he got in, he liked it, and that's why he wanted to study it. But he knew that he was not going to be able to get a job in the field afterwards.
I guess we could then move, no, actually, Dima could tell us something before we move to the...
Yes, 1 second. Yeah, in our country we have like pretty similar situation about voting, and also about education is pretty similar. In theory, by law, every person could receive free education, but in practice there is limitation of these special schools and universities, and also there are different level of general universities, and very specific small list of like specializations. So that's like you have pretty limited possibilities.
Yeah, this is sad. Joshku, there was something you wanted to add?
Yeah, so when I was asking Atakan what is his study, I was expecting something like computer engineering, because he always mentions about coding, etc. And he works in technical part of Vivo, but I didn't know he was studying economy. And then he mentioned like he was able to get in because of some issues that not really allowed to, but it was more struggle for him to get in at the end. So it was also surprised me because he's so interested in computer science, etc. But he's studying economy because of such issues now.
Which is weird that it's not possible. Okay, so the last question or questions. What is the percentage of visually impaired people in your country, and how many visually impaired people do you know personally? And there I saw that Jovana wrote something, Carmen, and then either Joshko or Aishno, Dina. So Jovana, would you like to share something?
Yes, I found information that there's no official data, but a report from, I think, 2008 is the last one that I found that estimated that there's around 12,000 people who are blind or visually impaired. And I don't know anyone personally, actually. So I don't have any.
Yeah, hands-on, yeah, first-hand experience. Okay. Carmen, would you like to share anything?
Actually, I was looking quite a bit and I could not find any data also on what's the percentage. A bit like Giovanna said, I did find some sort of report from around that time, 2007, 2008. And it was about 4%, but I have no idea or indication if that's good or bad or yeah. So I don't really know. And yeah, and I have a really good friend of mine. She's a physiotherapist and she's blind. And I know she introduces me to her. Well, she used to be a Paralympic athlete, actually. She did like butterfly, I don't know, 100 meters butterfly. She won, yeah, for Spain, and she won quite some medals. It was really cool. And within that community, we have in Spain, we have this foundation. It's called ONCE, and pretty much every blind person, it's part of this community. So they do a lot of events and gatherings, and I've been with her to a couple of them, and they're really fun, actually.
Thanks for sharing. And yeah, we have now more information on Turkey and Ukraine. So who would like to tell us about Turkey?
Okay, I can tell you. From a report that I saw about the blind people, it was saying there were around 220,000 people in Turkey as blind. It's around 0.2 percentages of our population. So I don't think it's really high, but yeah, it's something that we need to also keep in mind. But personally, I never met a person who is visually impaired.
Until today.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, and Dima?
Yes, about Ukraine, maybe I before mentioned it. In Ukraine, I found an article that says the population of visually impaired, partially or fully blind, is around 300,000 or 0.7% of population. And I also do not know personally blind people, but I saw in Kiev and in countries there is like guys who use these sticks to navigate in the city. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
May I add something for Turkey?
please, Gamze. Yeah.
Actually, it's so hard to find an official data for Turkey as well. But as our knowledge, there are around 500,000 blind people, and the people have low vision in Turkey. But as other countries, we are not so sure that this is true or not.
Okay.
But we know that it's more than 220,000 blind people in Turkey.
More than that.
Yeah, more than that. Yeah. But in most sources, these numbers you can see. You can see there are 200,000 blind people in Turkey, but it's not official actually.
Yeah. That's interesting that there is not precise information on that available. Can anybody imagine why that is so? Yeah, Elias. Yeah, hard for me to see all of you guys at the same time.
Yeah, I assume because it's not every. I mean, there's maybe no just official register. You are not obliged to register it anywhere.
Okay, yeah. Who was that? Joshko? Did you know? Because I thought somebody raised. I'm looking here.
Yeah, maybe one thing. Like in Germany, I think there is an official register, because if you have a disability of any kind, you can get some benefits. And for example, if you have visual disability, then you can get a free train ticket for all over Germany. So I think people who are visually impaired would mention it to the government, but I'm not sure if the data is published.
I just read in an article that the number of people with disability is counted in Germany, but not the number or not which disability they have. So I'm not sure.
Okay.
Probably this data is somewhere, but not officially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Somewhere we
seems,
can access it.
it seems like it's not actually collected, that data, because I went to a webpage from the kind of blind people organization, and they only have an estimation themselves for people who are visually impaired and blind, which, however, I found interesting because we're talking about 1.2 million people, which when comparing it to Turkey seems rather high. So Gamze, when you talked about the 200 to 500,000, was that just completely blind or also visually?
I think 500 people have both blind people and with loss of vision, I think.
Okay, that's interesting.
Maybe 220 is the number of just blind people, maybe. But unfortunately, we can not be sure about that.
Okay, so thank you everyone for your contributions to the discussion, and it was at the same time the last knowledge forum of today and of today's convention. Now what we have left for today is a reflection session, and yeah, my question to you is if you are fine of continuing without a break, or would you need 5 to 10 minute break? So those of you who would need a break, please raise your hands, but in the Zoom thing. Okay, so if you can, so far I've seen only one person needing break, and the majority seem, wait, 2 people. Okay, but the majority seems to be fine with continuing. And I guess so what I would ask you to do, no, that's what we are gonna do later, but now I hand over to Marlis for the reflection session.
Thank you, Maya. Wow, we've come after 2 days behind the screen, hearing a lot of stories, talking to people, seeing faces, moving, not moving, names. It's a lot that came, and I'm very impressed about how you tried to make it very interactive and all the things that people shared. I think it's time to kind of take a step back for a moment and to reflect for yourself. So what is it that really stood out for me? What has touched me, and what is it that I want to take with me as I go into the next day, tomorrow, and the day after, as a reminder of what this brought me, and to to keep that with you while it's still fresh right now, I would suggest you take a piece of paper or a Post-it. And take a marker or a pen and write on the piece of paper 5 words. Could be 5 loose words, could be a sentence, 5 words that you want to take with you. All right, once you have that, take a sticky, put it on your paper and stick it somewhere in your home office, on the wall, on your shelves, on your desk, on your computer, wherever you want it. Just stick it somewhere so you see it. All right, then take a picture of it. And post it in our WhatsApp group. Obviously, you don't have to do that if it feels too private. But if it's something, it's just, if it feels right, you can share it. Mohammed, I didn't see your message before, sorry. So what I asked is, or suggested is to take a piece of paper, write down 5 words that stay with you, that you want to take with you in the next day and the day after. Write them on a piece of paper, stick them somewhere in your home office, and take a picture and post it if you want on in our WhatsApp group. While we're doing that, if somebody would like to share also verbally what you wrote down, please pop up, feel free to speak up.
I'm not sure if you can hear me, Federico here. Yes. You said to think of 5 words, and actually the only word I could think of was resilience, because from the people who shared throughout this weekend, I think the recurring theme was resilience, and that's something that really motivates me to see that to see people fighting against the odds and claim their rights and go ahead and achieve their dreams and goals. And I think it's a beautiful proof of resilience of people, and something that I find really inspiring, really good.
Yeah. So there's 1 word on your paper. Post it. Excellent. Anyone else would like to share? Also, maybe if you don't feel like sharing on WhatsApp, maybe you feel like sharing it verbally.
Maybe I can take a ball and discuss what I wrote. I wrote the five words, just as you said. The first one is impact, second one is society, third one is change, and fifth one is movement, and the last one is passion. And maybe some of them are actually talking about the same, but what are the main insights and the piece of spirit that, which I got from this convention and this weekend we spent together and the topics we discussed and tried to reach more information and gain something for ourselves, is that all of us are interested in creating impact on society and to make the positive change in it and to move it to the better. And all of that is referring to the topic of the convention is social entrepreneurship. That means that we are moving by our passion, not about some numbers and not about money, but just to make this world better and make the life around us better. So that is something that always comes from passion. And if you remember, like one of the parts of the speeches I remember the most is when maybe I forgot the name, the guy from Twins was explaining about his passion, and he was saying that why he's doing this, because there is the two shapes. The one is what he wants to do and how he's seen his life, and the second one is what he's currently doing. And when he is trying to merge both of them, he's feeling peaceful, and that's like something really stuck in my mind till now. And I guess I will think a bit